Yeah, this is a show. Welcome to Geek Out, everyone. I'm your host, Max Harley, and I'm here with Talon and Julian.
Yo,
Oh, hi.
And first show of 2021. Let's go.
it is the
We're
first show
Yeah.
of
back.
2021.
We survived somehow. We're still
Or
surviving somehow. But
2020 round two.
yeah, honestly, kind of feels like that. But we're not here to geek out about politics. We're here to geek out about geeky stuff.
We don't need to geek out about
Dates are
politics.
arbitrary.
I do want to say this meme that I found.
Cool. Memes are geeky.
It was the like the yeah and then uh-oh face, that meme.
Mhm.
And the top one was December 31st, 2020, and he's like, yeah, and then January 1st, 2021, New Game Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
all the experience, but yeah, none of the
Mhm.
everything is harder.
Well, since it's past Christmas, did any of you? Let's talk Christmas haul. Did any of you get anything interesting?
Well,
Do you want to brag about it? Freaking brag.
my girlfriend and I didn't really buy each other presents because instead we bought a 50-inch 4K HDR TV.
High roller.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's solid. That's a solid like co-op gift.
Yeah, she's graduated and has a real person job, and so
God, I want that.
she makes good money.
Makes enough money to
Not
afford
feel scared.
Exactly.
to not feel scared. Oh gosh.
What about you, Julian? Get anything fun?
Not really. I got to see my family for a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's honestly what I needed this Christmas more than anything else. So I did no major video game purchases. I got Hades because it was on sale, but that's not a Christmas gift.
I still haven't picked that up, and I feel terrible.
I haven't played it since I got it in open alpha.
Oh, dude.
It's changed so much, I know, and I
Yeah.
really want to pick it up, but I'm a fool.
It's a really good game. I've already sunk 85 hours into it, and I've owned it for like 3 weeks.
My boss at my other job bought it and has beat it for the 40th time.
I don't know how many times I've beat it, but I can consistently beat Hades. I've gotten to Heat, I think 7 on the fists, and that's the highest. So there's that.
Nice.
If you know what that means.
I do. I've kind of spoiled it for myself a little bit, but
I don't really care about spoilers, so
yeah.
I've avoided
no judgment here.
I've avoided a lot of video game spoilers for that game because it's one of the games that I'm like, I'm going to play this, and
It's
then
really
I
good.
don't. Instead, I
It's
play
so
other
good.
games.
Supergiant just kills it.
Should have got it on sale. That's all I'm saying.
It was a cross-platform now.
With a smaller developer like that, I'm kind of okay paying full price. So
That's fair.
Supergiant feels like it's one of those developers, right, where it feels AAA, but it's not.
Yeah.
well,
They just put so much
I don't
effort
know.
in.
I wouldn't say they feel AAA because
They feel like it to me.
AAA games don't make that kind of a game.
No,
Yeah, they don't take that gamble between different games.
Yeah.
Like what was their last game?
Transistor.
No.
No, Pyre.
Pyre. Yeah.
Pyre. I love Pyre. I don't like Supergiant has killed it with
Pyre,
every
good.
single game they've made, in my opinion.
No, you're right, and
But
I
they're
think it's
all
because
different
they take
from the ones before.
yeah,
They
and they
take
take
risks.
a lot of care in developing their titles and stuff, like a lot of indie developers do.
Mm-hmm.
So
More so than certain AAA developers, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
we might get into that later.
I have thoughts. I know what you're talking about, and I have thoughts.
Well, I want to talk about my Christmas gifts first, and I feel bad because I feel like this was a setup for me to brag because you guys.
Oh no!
But unexpectedly, my girlfriend's dad bought me a drone.
Dope.
And I have a drone now, and I'm like, okay,
Love
cool.
drone.
It's fun. It's nice. It's a nice cheap one. It's weighted wrong, and it like leans forward constantly. So
Did you get a racing drone?
No, it's like
Is it
a small fold-up drone.
Interesting.
Oh.
It's not very fancy. Not to diss the gift. I appreciate it very much, Dell. I really do.
I'm gonna make
But
sure
I think
you
it's like,
Horse in the mouth. Good lordy.
yeah, right. But I'm thinking I might be able to just put a coin to the back and counterrate it. I'm really hoping all it takes is a nickel, because then I can call the drone Nickelback.
Nice.
And now I have a name for the drone. But yeah, he got it because apparently everyone in that family has drones. There's like 2 other brothers in that family, and they all drone fight and race. And they're like, "We want you to join next time because we were bored Thanksgiving." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Cool.
Didn't even know you guys were drone fighting out in the back during Thanksgiving. Wild.
That's awesome. Yeah,
But I got that.
drone fights are a real thing, and they look amazing. And I want
I
to be a part
know.
of it.
They're so cool.
But then you have to
So I
buy a
got
drone.
that, and I got a ton of gift card money from my grandma, and I went a little. I don't think I went overboard, but my girlfriend thinks I went overboard at the board game store and bought all of these games.
That
Look
is a
at
lot
these.
of games. Read the titles. This is a podcast.
Gosh, yeah, I
This
will.
is a
I will.
podcast.
I got
This is not a
Wingspan, and
visual.
it's.
Oh, sorry. Go
Oh
ahead.
God, no, you're good. I got Wingspan and the other 2 expansions for it, so I have almost every burb that you can get.
It's a lot of
I got Fort because I've been seeing a lot of good reviews on that, and I love the art. It's by the people who
What?
made.
What game?
It's Fort.
Like FORT?
Yep, like Fortnite, but minus the night.
I haven't heard that. Heard of that one.
Looking
It's
it
made
up.
by the people who made. Oh, what's it called? It's an asymmetric game where you play as animals fighting for supremacy in the woodlands. Where is it? I bought the digital version.
This isn't. I don't think I got the right one. 'Cause
Root.
this one has kid.
It should have like a bunch of kids on it.
Oh, then it might be the right one.
Yeah, Fort spelt with wood. The O's a tire.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So it's really fun. It's a deck building game, but it's
Mhm.
like centered around kids building the best fort in the neighborhood.
That's dope.
And it just has a lot of cute things. The developers apparently designed some of the kid cards after their own childhood photos.
That's adorable, and I freaking love this. I'm a
Right?
sucker for deck builders.
Right?
Have you
It's
played
only-
Have you
it's
played
pretty-
Deck Builder, the deck building game?
No.
Get out of here.
What?
Yeah, it's called. I'm pretty sure it's called Deck Builder, and
Deck Builder,
the
deck
objective is to build a deck, like a patio.
Oh.
That click. Everyone could hear that
Well, now I have to buy this.
in sync click.
Oh my gosh.
That one's pretty good. That's one of my favorites.
Mhm.
It's really easy to play. It's really fast.
I will also say, just to interject here with the Fort game, they also made another game called Root, which is asymmetric board gameplay, where each player chooses a faction and it plays completely different from the other faction
Mhm.
and have different goals, and whoever reaches their goal first wins. And it's oddly balanced in that sense. I have the digital version because I still am trying to comprehend like how to do that, but I really want to buy the physical copy of the board
Sounds
game.
like me with Go. I still don't understand that game, but it's fun to
Yeah.
play.
Mm-hmm. But the other 2 games I got on top of that is Takenoko, which I've had on my wish list since 2015. You're a gardener, or it's the Emperor's Garden, right? And you have to. It's like Ticket to Ride, where you have objectives. So
The
you
game
have
is
to have
really
like
pretty.
certain bamboo stalks of certain colors at certain heights and this stuff, and you get those points. And you have a panda that goes around eating the bamboo, and all this other stuff. It's objective based, and it's fun. And the one I'm really excited for, because I saw it and I thought it was a novel concept, and apparently it's really funny and fun, is the Choose Your Own Adventure House of Danger. It's based off the Choose Your Own Adventure book, apparently, but they made it a board game and they made it
Okay,
up to 4 players or more.
dope.
So it's like, awesome! I can take this book, this Choose Your Own Adventure book that I love, and actually play it with friends.
Play it.
Yeah. And
That's
so
really
I'm excited to try that out. We're going to have a board game night within our little COVID sphere of bubble sphere.
Yeah.
And see how it goes.
I did also get a lot of board games for Christmas, though I don't think most of them are technically mine or ours.
What board games are they?
We got Seven Wonders, which
Nice.
is a great game. It's similar to, I don't know, what is it similar to?
It's hard to describe. I genuinely
Yeah,
think Seven Wonders is kind of its own thing.
it is. You're trying to build your wonders, getting victory points, and there's so many ways to get victory points through gold, military victories, stuff like that. But yeah, 2 to 7 players, I guess. I think you have to do 3. But the intriguing part about the game is that you pass your hand to the left or right every single play. So you play a card and then you pass your hand. So it's very difficult to build a strategy that that is like, I'm going to focus entirely on this,
It's almost
because
like they took
there's
Spoon.
yeah, that's a decent way to explain it. Yeah. We also got oh shoot, what else did we get? I don't even know. I am not in a position where I can look at my collection of board games and be like, oh yeah, that's what I got. We did get the Betrayal in Haunted Mansion. So it's
The House on Haunted Hill.
no, it's the Scooby Doo version of
Yeah.
Betrayal. And to be honest, it's made for young children, so it's not very complex. And a lot of the rules are kind of taken out.
Uh-oh.
That's a dog. So yeah, the gameplay is not as complex, and it kind of gets boring significantly faster, but the novelty of it is still entertaining, and I enjoy it. So
It looks fun. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Doggos.
Yep.
Well, now that I'm back, I can mention one more thing I got for my birthday for myself, which was Cyberpunk 2077.
Hey!
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Boy.
Hey, don't be sorry. The game is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews.
Have you played it?
No, I can't afford a full price game right now.
Then
Well,
I wouldn't listen to reviews, because I feel like a lot of it is bandwagoning.
Maybe.
I've had small glitch problems, which is entirely expected with a
It's a
release.
giant ass game.
Is there a way I can screen share?
Not in a podcast.
I mean, in this specifically, if you want to know what I'm talking about, you'll see it on Twitter. When I first bought the game, I tried playing it and it would crash every 2 minutes.
What are you playing it on?
My PC.
What?
And this PC is built to run VR, and it runs Alexa like no problem. What I then later discovered on their hotfix 6 is I had to update my video drivers because AMD fixed it before Cyberpunk did, and I was like, oh, okay. And now it runs fine. I can run it at like all the highest quality, and it looks great. It plays fun, except every once in a while, I'll be walking down the street, or more specifically today, and I have gameplay footage of this because I wanted to record. Maybe we can put B-roll in the video YouTube version of our podcast, whatever. I'm walking down and I'm like, oh, I'll call my car. And I call my car and I'm like, okay, there it is. I walk up to it, not like visually seeing that it's not my car, it's a blue car. And as soon as I go to like press F, my car pops in and the previous car rockets into space.
Yep.
That's freaking great though.
Yeah, that's
like the bugs are there, and I'm like, okay. Sometimes I'm a little disappointed. I'm like, oh, this was a really cool, intense moment, and suddenly the character is like, all their equipment is just like, they'll move and one piece gets stuck here, and they'll move from here, one piece gets stuck here, and they're like slowly leaving floating parts throughout the scene. I'm like, this is not an intense moment anymore.
Unfortunately, with the type of title that it is, I think that was, I don't know, I was not expecting a perfectly polished game. Should they have probably delayed it until they had a stable build for consoles? Absolutely. But unfortunately, that's not the developer, like the actual people working on the development of the game's fault.
Yeah, no, that's not their fault.
Exactly.
But the game, the game will be amazing in another couple months, which,
Mm-hmm.
as upsetting as that might be for most people, game development is hard.
It's extremely hard, and I agree.
Yeah, you're dealing with a lot of political stuff on the administration level, where like financial distribution and stuff like that is such a big deal that like release windows are very much a thing. You can't just release a game on February 12th.
I know that.
No.
So I want to talk. There's one developer thing I want to talk about
Yes.
In a bit, but there is one more thing I want to say on the bug part, which I found was disappointing for a launch game, which is there were some mechanics that were bugged and you could not access. And I was like, oh, okay. Such as weapons will have multiple mod slots, but for up until like last week, I think, you couldn't actually attach multiple mods. It was bugged.
I didn't have a problem with that.
I had a problem with that where I couldn't physically attach multiple mods. Every time I tried clicking on like one thing, it only happened with the two types of guns, and it was the giant LMGs and like certain pistol ones. So I was like, okay, that's a bummer, but at least the other ones are okay and that stuff. And they
That's not
updated
something
it.
I've had a problem with.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
No, but what I've noticed is that most people's problems, the people who are having lots of problems with glitches and like game-breaking bugs, are running it on severely out-of-date hardware. Like it's the next-gen game. It's not going to run very well on like something before like a 960.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not. It sucks. Welcome to, unfortunately, technology moves fast.
Welcome to gaming.
There's the other reason why I haven't bought it.
Yeah. And the other reason is that they're playing on a console. Like, if they're playing on a console, I have several friends who have it on PlayStation and Xbox, and none of them have had problems, except for one of them who had it on an external hard drive and was just trying to load the game in via USB. USBs are slow.
Yeah, that's not fast enough.
It's like you have to optimize your hardware to match the optimization of the game too. Maybe that's not as easy as it sounds, but like it's not. Not everything should be thrown on the weight of the developers. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I was disappointed for the first week because, like I said, I built this PC last year and it's made for VR.
Yeah,
I made it so it could run like any VR game, and
got a lot of
having it
power
crash because of a video error. Yeah, and having it crash for a video error every like 2 minutes, I was like, that doesn't feel right. And,
I've only had 2 game-breaking crashes.
Yeah,
I'm happy to say.
Yeah,
one of them was my fault.
Understandable. And I mean, like my 3 were my fault too. I should have checked my drivers and had them auto update. Don't know why they weren't auto updating. But
yeah, right.
In the end, like all that stuff aside,
and you NVIDIA.
It's a well developed. Like the designers and artists behind it did a very good job, and I have fun. I will say I'm disappointed with this main story because I don't know. Spoiler warning for anyone about Cyberpunk right now. Just gonna put that out there.
How far into this are you getting? Because I am not done with the campaign or anything either. So
I'm technically getting past the prologue.
Okay.
Which, by the way, the prologue is like 2 hours long.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, it
with
is.
a half-an-hour cutscene sequence.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a problem with that, but I'm
good.
not gonna.
No,
it's
not
gonna.
really good.
I will say
it's very entertaining. Jackie,
it's
Jackie is
amazing. It's not like all that stuff. If you've seen the commercials and everything, right, you already know Jackie gets murked and iced.
What?
Yeah.
What? And
Nani?
I'm disappointed because that's one of my favorite characters, but from my own Googling on like certain mechanics of this game, I'm like, oh, he might not be dead. I don't know. I still haven't gotten that far or like invested.
Soul Killer could technically have sucked his soul out and put him somewhere on the net.
Theoretically. But the thing I want to talk about is during the prologue sequence, right? I'll say it arbitrarily. I was invested in the story. because I got betrayed.
Mhm.
And I'm like, awesome. I want to
Yeah.
stop at nothing to get the guy that betrayed me. And then they kill him in the cutscenes.
Yep. Yeah.
In the prologue. I'm like,
Plan B.
I have no propelling force.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
do.
care about the story. I don't
Yeah,
care that Johnny
whatever.
Silverhand's here.
You
And I
wake
don't
up
care that
and
he's
Johnny
killing me
Silverhand.
personally.
I mean, you can't tell somebody else that they don't have motivation for the story, though.
But the motivation is
Like, yeah,
Lackluster,
The
where it's like,
motivation
oh,
is
your character's dying, and you only have a week to live.
no. You're
But
not.
it's
You're not
it's
dying. You're
It's
not
not true
dying.
though.
You're not dying. You're slowly being overwritten by Johnny Silverhand.
All right, yeah, but like overwritten is not dying.
what's the difference between dying and being overwritten? What are you if not your soul? What are you if
No,
not
okay,
your
you're right.
personality?
It's not like my point is that your character is not just getting like shot in the head and dumped in a garbage dump. Your personality is slowly being taken over by another person whom you
Yeah.
may or may not agree with.
Yeah, and I understand that, but
Which
like
is
that's the
significantly
main
more
driving point.
terrifying than
Do you want him to take over or do you want him to not? And I'm like, I don't care anymore.
well. That's
Which
My
is
investment
that's
is
the
it was
game.
a good driving point for me. It was equivalent to being like, you're an awesome bounty hunter, but you're gonna die of cancer in 2 weeks. And like, okay, I'm just gonna do bounties then until I die. But there could be a cure. That's great. I want to
Sure,
go
yes.
have adventures though. I don't want to go around like constantly looking for a cure and that stuff. I don't know. It wasn't appealing to me, and that upset me. Where I was like, I wanted a revenge plot, and then like if you had a revenge plot on top of that, I would have been all in. I would have been like, I got to get my revenge quickly so I can get this cure and I'll be good.
I think
But
there's definitely some revenge plot in there.
I'm sure there might be. I might not be as far into the story as like you are, so.
No,
Yeah,
you're definitely not. I am much further than that. But yeah,
But I've been going around doing side quests left and right because
I
I find
mean,
them more interesting.
yeah, there's like a billion hours of side quests in this game. So, no, you're correct. Okay, I see what you're saying now. I understand that your lack of motivation to continue the story. I would say give it a chance because it gets very interesting with lots of branching things. I do want to talk about the highlights of the game for me though.
Yeah.
Dialogue. The dialogue in the game is fantastic. There are so many branching trees that you don't even know about because you picked an origin, which means there's 2 dialogue trees in just a truckload of like actual conversations with other characters in the game that you just don't get to see based off of your skill in certain fields. Like if your strength is really high, it's not strength. What is it? Might?
It's
Body. That one. Like if your body's really high, based on like there's increments of it that allow you to accomplish different things in dialogue. So like having a body of 6 might unlock the dialogue option, but having a body of 8 or 10 or 12 will make that play out differently, which I thought was really interesting. That's something I discovered recently. And the amount of detail that they put into the characters and the world as a storytelling object is absolutely mind-blowing. And the thought that they've put into just who's in the world and what they're doing and the people you can interact with, I think is just fantastic.
I totally agree. I just want to interject here how just some more detail on how detailed they went with that, which is I went on a side quest, and I guess I did it in a certain order that was different than what it could be, because that side quest opened and progressed 2 other side quests before I even got to them. Like it's like certain side quests that didn't seem tied together were starting to tie together, and I was like, that's awesome. We're seeing, and whichever one I completed first progressed those 3 side quests differently.
Yeah,
which is really, really cool.
No, and that I think is the true merit of the game. That and the ability to play whomever you'd like to be. The representation of the game, I think, is the also big stepping stone for the game, except for when your penis clips through your clothing.
Oh my god.
That definitely happens a lot.
I will say the representation could be a bit more.
Okay,
Like honestly,
I mean,
typical representations in Saints Row 3, which is
like
creator, which is kind of funny to me.
when you build your character, you can be
Yeah.
whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
You can be represented in the game.
Mhm.
At least as far as like appearance goes. Your voice is obviously scripted directly to either a male or female voice, but I thought that was really cool. And there are characters you meet throughout the game that are trans, gay, bisexual, all like everything is in the game, which I also appreciate. So
something I find really funny, I want to just kind of throw this in here.
Yeah.
Is there's this thing that I've been thinking about with a lot of games, which is like opportunity cost of development. And like every feature has a lot of development time put behind it.
Yes.
And penis size took not only the time it took to develop the models and like get it to like properly scale, but it also took all that time to debug that they obviously needed more time to if your dong is suddenly hanging out. But
I think that's more of like a cloth simulations thing.
I don't really like.
Yeah, my uncle makes video games. He modeled the penises in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. But like,
how'd you like that on your
what didn't they do? What part of the game did they not implement so they could have penis size? Like, and why was it deemed that was important enough?
You know what they didn't do? They didn't optimize it for consoles.
They didn't. They did penis size instead of optimizing for consoles. There we go. Those are definitely the same team who would be working on both of those.
Obviously, Cyberpunk Red only had a team of like what 300, 350.
Yeah. I just find it. I find that calculus a little bit off. That's just my opinion, though.
I understand.
Makes sense.
But at the same point, I think that. I mean, if they were gonna have, I don't know. Okay, disclosure: the penis options in Cyberpunk are a little bit of a letdown. I'm gonna be honest.
So, oh wow!
There's technically only 4 genital options in Cyberpunk: circumcised, uncircumcised, vagina, nothing.
Yeah.
It sounds like nothing is best for optimization. Like if you're on a slightly worse PC, you know, and you're like, oh, I just really want the game to run a little bit faster. Go with nothing.
It's really funny because it's like it says genitals and it goes penis 1, penis 2, vagina off.
No, there's. Oh, I guess there is penis 1 and penis 2, and then there's 3 sizes for each one.
I just like that if you choose genitals, it just says off.
Yeah.
Genitals off. Nipples off.
Yeah.
Everything turned off.
It's the future. We can do that. It's the future.
It is the future.
No, it's 2077.
And
it's the year 2077. My gender is off.
I will say there is one phenomenal quest. Slight spoiler for one of the quests that can happen. I won't spoil how it ends, but you run into this dude who's like screaming in pain, and clutching his genital area, and it's because he got a cybernetic mod, a cybernetic
black market cybernetic mod.
Black market cybernetic penis that does not function properly. So he was having some fun with that. And there's just some great stuff like that littered throughout the world. And yeah, okay. I think their attention to the amount of things that you can do in the world and the people you can interact with, fantastic. Disappointing that children are just miniaturized full adults.
Yeah, they've never been able to do children in any of the
No.
games from
Is
what I've
that a
heard.
thing?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, yeah. Have you seen the pictures? They literally
haven't.
they just took the model of an adult and just went,
it's what it looks like. But
it's the mini Keanu Reeves meme, just
yeah,
perpetually throughout the game.
yep. So and that kind of brings me to my biggest letdowns with the game. And that would be like the physics of the world. I expect more of a AAA title for next gen consoles to have a better physics engine.
How do you think the driving is?
What?
Again,
The driving.
The cars drive appropriately, I think. But again, one of the first mods I'm going to look for, since I have it on PC, is a mod that allows me to drive at a speed limit. Because the all or nothing driving in games drives me nuts. Mafia was one of my favorite games for driving because you could limit to actual driving speeds. So
crazy.
And you cannot do that in Cyberpunk. You go from 0 to 120 kilometers in like 6 seconds.
Yep.
Or you like go from 0 to 60, down to 30, down up to 60, down to 30. It's kind of throughout the streets. I've also discovered that driving with a mouse and keyboard is disastrous and awful, and I plug my controller into my computer so I can drive.
Well,
It's rough.
there you go.
Yep. So,
anyways, we spent about 30 minutes talking about Cyberpunk.
I have one more thing to say.
that was
one more thing.
This is like a really, really big thing that's kind of on everyone's.
And it's been quote unquote controversial. And one of those controversial things I want to talk about.
Okay.
As someone who's made a
last
game,
one from Max.
I feel like I have the right to have an opinion on this.
You can have your
criticisms because a lot of people were like, they cut content. They're taking away content from us because they discovered there is male voice lines for a female NPC character, or the main character has male or female, and you can only romance certain people because certain NPCs are gay.
Yes.
And one of the NPCs is gay. They discovered that the romance lines for that romance are also in the male recordings.
Correct.
In the files. Like, oh, you cut content and all this other stuff, and like blaming them for cutting content. Like, they're like, no, we had them record everything for both voice actors. And I don't understand how people don't understand that, because what most likely is happening with this development cycle is they write all the dialogue, and the voice actors are hired for hourly, and they don't have a recording studio in-house, so they're renting out a recording studio hourly, so they want to make sure they have everything no matter what. So they just probably record it all for both voice actors, and then the design team's like, actually, this NPC is gay, so you wouldn't be able to romance him as male, so just don't have that dialogue like inputted, but it's going to be in the files anyways.
On the topic of
you throw everything in first, and then you lock things that you're not going to use.
Right?
That seems like a really dumb controversy. I'm going to be real.
It is.
Dumb controversy behind this game, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah, like you're demanding that a character form to you with their sexual orientation and stuff, rather than letting them be.
I mean, that's literally every other video game, though.
Right.
Like I actually really talking about diversity again. Going back to diversity.
With any character, any Dragonborn can romance Lydia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just like that's a intentional choice to limit who can romance who, which gives the NPCs more character. I actually like that. As opposed to, I started playing Stardew Valley with my younger sister, and you can just like romance whoever the hell you want. And I'm just like, yep, all these characters are kind of boring. I don't really feel like that invested in the romance system.
You give them enough presents, and then they accept you for whoever you are.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, gay, straight, bi, whatever. Who cares?
Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
This is a small town. There's not enough choices to be picky.
Right.
Just because the files are in the game like in deep in the game files doesn't mean they cut that content. Again,
No.
I developed and published a game this last year. There's a lot of, pardon my language here, a lot of shit in that game if you dug into our game files that aren't in the final cut because they didn't need to be there.
Yep.
We have concept art in those files. We just left them in there because we were all working within the engine. So it's just, I don't know. That one dumb controversy was like, actually, I have an opinion.
Okay, and the character he's talking about is Judy, the one with all the tattoos. I have one. I do have one more thing to add. Judy has awesome tattoos, but they're placed stupidly. It's like someone took a bunch of stickers and were just like, have some stickers on your body, and so, and because I don't know, I was a little disappointed with the layout of her tattoos. It is just kind of like one day she woke up and is like, you know what's cool? Snakes. Tattoos. And then put a snake right here. And then,
dude, I know plenty of people who that is their process for getting tattoos.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like, I know a handful of people who actually are like that.
That doesn't mean it's not disappointing.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because she's very artistic as a character.
Let's just put a spider web on my shoulder.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
All right, we can move on. Julian,
yes, we can.
What do you want to bring to the table today?
Oh man, now hold on. Give me a second.
Do you even remember
cyberware? Let's get that off us.
Jeez, I closed the fucking tab. Sorry. Pardon my language. We spend 20 minutes talking about penis, and now I'm like, oh no. I guess, yeah. I wanted to talk about Sephiroth in Smash. I really like Smash.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, and we haven't had an episode in long enough that Sephiroth was announced and then released since our last episode.
Yep. And he is OP.
He's not OP. That's really great.
I know. Everything is very balanced. He has some attacks that can do just an absurd amount of damage.
He can do a lot of attacks, but I think he's very unique. He's not he's unique in a way.
Is he Piranha Plant unique?
No, he's not Piranha Plant unique. I gotta be real, not Piranha Plant unique. But he's a big anime sortie. He can't be that unique.
He's another anime person with a sword.
Yeah. His downside, right? His downside is that all of his attacks are active for a really short amount of time, but have a ton of lag. And that's his the design of his entirety is based around, you've got a split second in this 2-second animation where you can actually hit somebody. And if you hit somebody, it's going to do a lot. But if you don't hit them in that time, then you just wasted the 2 seconds of your time.
Which is a big
in this fighting
in Smash, outside of outside of just playing with your friends.
Yeah. If you're trying to do competitively, I really liked that that aspect of it.
Don't play Smash enough to understand a lot of this.
I don't have any Nintendo devices, so I play Smash when I go to a friend's house, and I'm garbage at it, and I can never remember how to block. And
who blocks? I never block. All attacks.
You just button smash, right?
The best offense
down B.
The best defense is a good offense. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing that always frustrates me, because this is why I'm on your side, Julian. Whenever someone says he's OP, when a new character's OP or that stuff, I'm just like, he's not OP. You don't know how to get into his attacks yet.
You haven't played with them yet.
When I play countered characters, I always played countered characters because they're like, you're too OP. You're always countering all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, because you guys always attack. Yeah, so here's what I do. They bait up my counters, which they started doing, and they stopped calling me OP all of a sudden. And I'm like, see?
Oh my gosh.
Learning.
Right.
Learning in my Smash Brothers? No. But again, I don't play enough Smash in competitive stuff, so I'm probably not right in this mindset, but I just try to have fun. I'm always items on, always let's just have fun. Let's just make this a mess. Freaking Mario's punching Sonic. Why take this seriously ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, Sephiroth looks fun.
I know, and he is a really cool character. But I lack a lot of that knowledge as to why he's a cool character, why he's the one-winged angel, because I've never had a Nintendo device. So
Have you played?
I'm sorry, that's a lie.
Final Fantasy?
That's a lie. I do have a Nintendo device. I have a Game Boy Advance SP.
Oh, high roller.
That was my
like,
no, I've never played Final Fantasy.
Oh, and so like you don't even have that aspect.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Moment Final Fantasy to me, and I understand a little bit of Sephiroth, and I'm just like, I get why some Final Fantasy fans heavy sigh, and others get really excited.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I've paid attention to what people have said about him and the character and stuff, but I don't have any personal experience with it. So.
Well, do you have anything else to add, Julian?
No, but let's give Talon his 10 minutes or so.
My 10 minutes for my
his
platform. I actually don't have a ton to bring to the table because unfortunately, I still haven't started watching the latest season of The Expanse, which has been coming out on Prime, which is my absolute favorite TV show. The reason I haven't started watching it is because it's not all out, and I will binge watch it all in one night. So I don't want to be stuck waiting for the next episode one night when I really want to see what happens. The other show that was fantastic, Mandalorian. Mandalorian ended phenomenally. I'm very excited for what Disney's doing with that universe. If you haven't watched it, go do it. It's worth it.
I just want to say on The Mandalorian, before we move on from The Mandalorian, there is so much more respect for Star Wars as an IP in The Mandalorian.
Yes, than there were in the latest trilogy.
Then 7, 8, and 9 combined.
And I would agree. Which is disappointing because Disney made some mistakes. And I mean, it's Disney. I have my own opinions on Disney. I'm sure everyone does. I am not a huge fan of Disney. But the stuff that they've been doing with Marvel and Star Wars outside of the major franchise with the movies and stuff, I think it's been fantastic. So, what else? Oh, I recently started watching Twin Peaks, which if anyone's ever seen that, that's a great show. I had nightmares last night because of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just disturbed unnaturally.
So with in Twin Peaks, it's like a murder mystery in this small town where this FBI agent is following up on some leads for a murder that happened on the other side of the state. And he goes to this town, and it's full of like a soap opera-y amount of like affairs going on and relationships that shouldn't be happening, and a whole bunch of just wonky stuff that and this mystery just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's wild. It's a ton of fun to watch. I'm still wondering who the killer is and stuff like that. So, but there are some crazy visions that happen because it's got some like mystical stuff in it too. And there's some visions that creeped me out. I have to say, Bob is creepy. Bob is real creepy. So, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching the stuff. Oh yeah, also I'm an English major now.
How'd that happen?
I switched from CS to English. So
I forget what the names are for English majors already, so
I'm really looking forward to it, but I have an absurd amount of books to read. So that's what I've been doing over the last couple weeks too, is reading books. To prepare for my semester full of reading.
Be prepared to read 5,000 pages.
Yep. Which I'm okay with. I like reading and I like writing. I'm a dungeon master. I write a ton of stuff. So, yeah. All right. Unfortunately, guys, I have to bounce. I need
Well,
to clock back in.
yeah, no
So,
worries.
Want
Thank
to
you
give
all.
it a 3, 2, 1, and we geek out.
Yep. Let me just say thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed the Peachy's there. Peachy's here. My Poppy Pomeranian's yelling at me to end the recording, so I'm going to end it now. Let me finish. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time.
Geek
Geek
out.
out. Nailed it.